Ruinart was the first officially established champagne house back in 1729, and we do have that very first book showing that on 1st September 1729, in the name of God and Holy Mary, was started the business of making champagne. The Ruinart family was in the fabrics business. They did inherit some vineyards, and Dom Ruinart, who lived before that time, told the family that champagne might be an interesting business to go to. And sure enough, Nicolas Ruinart, his nephew, started what is considered to be the first officially established champagne house. The chef de cave, or the winemaker, is like a guardian of the temple. You know, we are here to make sure that the quality and the style of the house will prevail no matter what. You have to know your own vineyards, the vineyards where you buy grapes from, doing the harvest, doing all the fermentations. The blending is obviously the critical point, because this is where you defined and refined the style of the house. But it goes all the way also towards the aging, controlling the disgorgement. Sometimes I see my job also as to not only make wine, but make people happy. More often than enough, champagne is consumed in happy moments, special moments, although I like to think that maybe champagne helps to make the moment special. Dom Ruinart was a very, very literate monk who wrote many books. He was a philosopher, he was a theologist. When Ruinart decided to create a prestige cuvée, back in 1959, the name Dom Ruinart became obvious as a choice. It's made entirely with Chardonnay grapes, and more specifically, it's made solely with grapes coming from Grand Cru vineyards, so the very best of the Champagne vineyard. And that's really the essence about the Dom Ruinart. It has to be, and it is, the quintessence, the ultimate experience of Ruinart. The 2004 vintage, it's the latest release of Dom Ruinart. The vintage itself, it was a very good vintage. We had a beautiful crop. The summer was, as it can be in Champagne, a bit not so easy, not so warm, not so friendly. But what saved the vintage, in my opinion, is the extraordinary months of September. We had beautiful sunshine hours, 20% more than usual. 80% less rain, so that meant September was very, very, very dry, a bit warmer, and that really helped the crop to ripen at a perfect level. The crop was pretty generous, so that helped us to be a bit more strict on sorting out the grapes, and we really kept the very best grapes for this wine. A lot of the 2004 in Champagne have a sort of a nice, green, fresh character. Nothing aggressive at all, but more like a refreshing green profile to it. And I think the Dom Ruinart 04 is actually no exception. It shows a bit of ginger, a bit of fennel, anise, so it's really refreshing with a high level of vibrancy, I would say. In a way, making Dom Ruinart is easier than making the non-vintage, because for the non-vintage we have to select grapes from the year, but also wines from previous years to achieve the consistency, the reserve wines that really help to shape the style. And having the same style year after year, despite very different harvests, is a bit of a challenge. We spend a lot of months together, a lot of tasting sessions to achieve that consistency. When for Dom Ruinart, it's a gift of nature. We just wait for the good year to happen. We know we have the sourcing of the grapes. We know we have access to Grand Cru vineyards. And then when the year is great, exceptional, we select those vineyards, put them together, and let the time do the rest. So even though it's more expensive, because it spends more time, because it's rarer, for us, it's almost easier to make Dom Ruinart. And as I said, we don't make it. Nature makes it for us.